my disorder started off as me forgetting what it feels like to be hungry. People used to be like, how can you not like food? How can you not love it? I wish I was able to enjoy a meal at that point.
I have spent so many years trying to help others that I forgot to help myself. And since September now I have lost 20 kilos as well.
Fitness, exercise, doing something to help your body shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be a plan. It should be part of your life.
Welcome to The She Word, where we have conversations that women rarely have but really should. My name is Sasha. I'm your host for this edition, which is the Young Women edition, where we are having conversations which are more targeted towards a younger demographic of women. Young Women and Body Image is our third episode for this edition, and I have no doubt it will be a very powerful show, given the social sphere women have to face and the expectations brought on by the ever-changing beauty standards. But before I go into introducing our guests, I want to go through some statistics relating both with fitness and eating disorders across the EU. When it comes to exercise, in 2019, nearly 1/3 of people aged 18 and over across the EU engaged in health-enhancing aerobic physical activities for at least 2.5 hours per week. However, a recent Eurobarometer survey found that almost half of EU residents, 45% to be exact, report that they never exercise or participate in sports. And in the list of prevalence of insufficient physical activity, Malta came in the 5th place out of all the member states of the European Union. Meanwhile, quoting data published by the EU Parliament back in 2021, it is estimated that 20 million people suffer from eating disorders across Europe, with 3 million of them being in Italy alone. People of any age, sex, or background can suffer from eating disorders, but as a rule, they are most prevalent in young women aged between 15 and 25, although there are a fair number of cases in other age groups as well. With me today I have Sarah Buttigieg, who is an influencer who hit 40,000 followers with her body positivity journey, who shared her battle with mental health and body image in season 1 of The She Word, so you're back once again on the show, and has taken a break from social media completely and is now back to share her journey again. Thank you for coming, Sarah.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we have Vella, who is a qualified personal trainer and a coach, massive fitness enthusiast, and also graduated in graphic design from the University of Malta. Hello, Kelly.
Hi.
And finally, Alexia Micallef, who is an actress and a singer, who is currently sitting for her degree in performing arts and recently won L-Anja tal-Poplu with her song Fil-Kaxxun, which talks about the eating disorder that she had at the age of 13.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
So, I want you all to take a moment now to introduce yourselves. So, Sarah, you want to get us started?
Sure. My name is Sarah. I'm 23. Recently graduated from University of Malta. I did my degree in psychology, and my thesis focused on male body image and its effect, male Instagram portrayal and its effects on male body image. What else? I took a break from social media completely. Instagram is deleted. But when I received the call from Trudy to take part in the show, I told her I don't need 40,000 followers to speak about this topic because it's still very close to my heart. So, yeah.
Amazing. And thank you for coming today. I can't wait to hear more about this complete lifestyle change that you basically took on, right?
Yes.
Kelly.
Hi.
Hello.
What do I do?
Tell us a bit about yourself.
A lot of stuff. Okay, so I work in property as full-time. I'm also a fitness coach, so I do classes, sometimes mornings, sometimes evenings. And I'm also an artist, so I still work in that graphic design area, but not as much as I used to. So mostly it's that. And obviously I'm a gym rat, so I'm always at the gym. So yeah, that's it.
Amazing. And Alexia?
So my name is Alexia. I'm 20 years old and I'm a singer and an actress. Right now I'm finishing my degree in performing arts. Basically, my life revolves around the stage. I'm constantly either doing theater or either singing somewhere. Music is a very important part in my life. And I plan to use my art to somehow create an awareness or get the message across. So, yeah.
First, I want to start off by hearing some of your thoughts on the statistics that I mentioned earlier. Did anything pop into your head as I was reading them that you would like to share?
Well, it's a huge subject, because it just touches a lot of areas. When you're mentioning like fitness and food and social media, they all have their parts, but they all come to one. Now it's just, for me anyway, it's not a surprise anymore. We kind of expect it because we know what's happening in the world of social media, in the world of food, in the world of fitness, where you just expect a lot. So people are kind of feeding so much information that everyone's lost and they don't know what to do. And then, it's a mess in a way.
Yeah.
But it's important that you said it, because like that we're showing awareness. It's there. So if it's there and we think it's a problem, then it is a problem. So that's why we talk about it. That's why there is statistics in the first place, because it shows what we're doing wrong. I think it's most of it, I think, just comes from social media itself, because we just, like we were talking earlier, we just met, how just social media in general is just part of us, and we just do it because we just do it. It's just in our nature to do it. But you have to kind of realize, and you have to kind of decide for yourself what you want to see and what you want to believe.
Exactly. Because it's creating a reality that sometimes I look at it as though a reality which is not real somehow. As in, there are real aspects from what we see on social media, but a lot of it is this... these images that we're portraying and we're creating to make people believe that this is either the new normal or this is our new reality. So like you said, the statistics somehow did not really surprise me, because I'm expecting these numbers.
Of course.
Because if you think about the what social media puts on people, on teenagers, that doesn't surprise me at all.
And in some ways, like, we did not have these statistics until like not long ago. So a lot of this was very much buried, like hidden away.
Yes.
Which is why I want to get to you now. Because, so you recently won Lania tal Poplu, right?
Yes.
The most recent edition.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. With your song Fil Kashun,
Yes.
which for our English listeners, it means basically in the drawer.
In the drawer.
And in Maltese, that's a term that we use to kind of
Hide things.
Exactly.
For example, under the carpet, it's closer to...
Exactly.
Exactly.
So can you tell us a bit about like what the song is actually about and what it means to you?
Yes, so the song is very, very close to my heart. That's why I went in for the Natal Popel, because I'm not that type that this was the first ever festival I've been in, but the song was, the first time I heard it, it had something so special that I was like, what platform could I publish it on for people to listen to it? And so that's why we applied for Natal Poplu. So Fil Kashun talks about eating disorders, specifically about anorexia, disorder I had when I was 13 years old. It's a funny story because the composer is a very good friend of mine, and he was like, I have this song, and I'm imagining your voice. And he sent it to me, and I'm listening to the song, and the song just told my story. And although we're very good friends, we never spoke about me having this issue, this problem. And I was like crying, bawling my eyes out when I heard it. And I'm like, how do you know? And he's like, what do you mean? How do I know? He's like, I wrote it on my personal story. Oh, wow. And that moment was, we're like, we both had the same problem. We're very good friends and we never spoke about it. And that moment we're like, okay, so it has to be heard. It basically talks about the struggles people suffer from when they have anorexia. But to create a sort of empowerment, we wanted to finish the song with a note that although there is a lot of help and medication available and therapists, it has to be you and only you to understand the fact that who can take care of myself better than myself? Who can help me come out of this issue if I don't have the will to do it? So it speaks about the underlying issues of anorexia and how one can find ways to understand that if you have the will to come out of it and help yourself towards a better life, you can somehow do it.
That's beautiful, huh?
What if you could start your journey over? Start here and start again there. That's how life works, in a circular way. We understand the importance of circles, and that's why you are at the heart of ours. Find your way to wellness with Browns.
You want to open up a bit more on the experience itself, which inspired the song?
Sure. So basically, when I was 13 years old, my disorder started off as me forgetting what it feels like to be hungry, forgetting what hunger feels like. And at that time, I had no knowledge whatsoever about eating disorders or what creates the problem or what it entails. I had no idea. So I knew that something was not normal. I knew I was like, why am I not hungry? Why am I going out with my friends? They're eating my favorite snacks and I'm not taking one because I don't feel like. So it didn't start in a way of me looking at myself and I'm like, I need to be thinner, I need to fit in these jeans or in this bikini. It was me losing my appetite totally. But then it becomes such a huge part of you that it became sort of an obsession, literally. So then people started being like, Lalo, you're so thin. Like, what are you doing? So I started doing it myself, and you'll be like, so this is how I'm supposed to look like, or this is how I'm supposed to feel.
The attention.
And
So
you're
you think it's
so
like
then
it's how it should be.
Exactly. Then you start believing that this is how it should be, exactly like you're saying. So it became this total obsession of me not even wanting to have a relationship with food. And without me knowing, my mother was keeping track of what I'm eating. I used to throw away food, and I thought she didn't know, but she used to see me do it. And even at school, they were seeing me throw food away. And I remember clearly, my mom came up to me with a tissue because I used to hide my food in this tissue and then throw it away later because she used to be in the house. And she's like, what's this? And I immediately burst into tears. I'm like, I don't know what's happening to me. And she did her research and they directed me to Kenn al Sahhtek, which is a system in Malta where they take care of people who have eating disorders. But the biggest problem of it all was me accepting that I had this issue, because I had no idea that it was a problem in the first place. So for me to understand that this was a problem within myself that I had to work hard to get out of it was really tough. But then with the help of therapists and like I said, Kenn, they find ways to help you understand that you have to take care of yourself, because you can't do otherwise. And without food, people can't. Of course,
food is
can't function.
Energy,
you know,
yeah.
They used to tell me this phrase that I will forever keep with me. That a car without fuel can't move.
Yeah.
And I didn't used to understand. I'm like, but I don't need it. I don't want to be even close to food. And it takes time. It takes a lot of time, and it never completely leaves you. But you find ways on how you learn how to control it rather than it controlling your whole life.
Exactly.
So yeah.
And it's one of those situations, like you said before, that only you can get out of.
Exactly.
Like in some ways it's very lonely, right?
Very lonely.
Because it's literally you and your body, and it's a problem that you're facing, and you can have all the support in the world.
But
it's just
used to,
you.
even the advice you used to give me, I didn't used to listen because I felt so alone, like you're saying, because I was the only person who was feeling what I'm feeling, and this it
Exactly,
wasn't
it's in
me
everything.
about, or they're like, oh, but why are you doing this? You look already great. You don't need to fit in that bikini. It's not about that. It's literally not about that. It's about my connection with food. It's different to people used to be like, how can you not like food? How can you not love it? I wish I was able to enjoy a meal at that point, but it takes it's also something mentally. So it takes over your way of thinking, your way of looking at things. So it's not just about body image.
it's not.
It also
It's the mind and the body together.
Exactly. And they used to tell me, if you have an unhappy stomach, you have an unhappy mind. If you have an unhappy mind, you have an unhappy stomach.
Obviously, you were like 13, so 13 is like super young.
Exactly.
You know, you don't even know.
You don't
like-
even know what it is and what even the main issue is. And apart from that, you're still figuring
it out. Obviously, you're 13,
everything
like,
out.
Yeah.
You're still trying to see what you like, what you don't like. So it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. But it's the, if I'm not mistaken, it's the age that is most common. So that makes me question, for example, why didn't they talk to us about it in school, for example? Or whatever, these youth groups, or because I think nowadays it's different. But at the time I had no knowledge whatsoever about
And in some ways, I guess these are some of the cases where social media does help then.
Yes, of course. Even nowadays, I believe that even teens nowadays, they have a much better knowledge and an idea of what an eating disorder is, what body image is, and how you're comfortable in your own skin.
At least
there
we
are
started to
positive
talk about
aspects,
it.
of course.
So-
And I believe that we're moving towards a better understanding.
so too, yeah.
At least,
And on the note of social media, it brings me to you. So I personally remember you when you were like quite massive on social media, right? You had 40,000 followers and you're still quite young. So you had those followers when you were even younger,
Yes.
right? And you used to use this Instagram account mostly to raise awareness on body image, body positivity. And now you've completely scrapped that account. You've opted for a much smaller one and a more intimate one, right? You have a private account.
Private, yes.
Can you tell us a bit about this? Like, how did this happen?
Personally, I went through something that made me feel very, very, very powerless. And similarly to what you went through, I used to receive a lot of messages, good messages, that used to say like, thank you, you're helping me. I'm more confident within myself, seeing you at your size, taking bikini pictures or wearing whatever you want. And to a certain part, it was good. Like I was feeling confident within myself. But at a point last year, in August, when this big thing happened, I was feeling very, very powerless. And I wasn't really understanding. I wasn't feeling the same way that the people were messaging me. And I felt it was, I don't know how to explain
Contradiction.
it. A contradiction,
what you're
yes.
showing and what you're feeling,
Yes, I felt like it was not me at all. And also those comments, I think throughout the years, reflecting now, without having the account or anything, it made me in a certain way complacent within myself. I used to work on myself, but it was very on and off. It was a very hectic life, like with, I don't know, brand deals, photo shoots, and I was in university as well. I was still developing my character. I was only a teen. It was a lot of stuff. I used to train, but very sporadically. It wasn't something that I took really seriously. And I don't know, I think looking back at that time, I think I was very complacent within myself personally. I used to give a lot of help to other people, but not really to myself. And at one point, last August, I thought to myself, like, this is enough. I need to be, quote unquote, selfish for a bit. And I started cutting down my use of my Instagram profile. The more time passed, the less that I used it. And beginning of this year, I felt like it wasn't really a part of my life anymore. Yeah. So I decided to delete it completely. I had already built a completely new life. Started out going to the gym once a week at first, then twice, then 3 times. And at the beginning of this year, I go 5 to 6 times a week. And I started recently also powerlifting. And now I'm working on taking part in my first competition.
Amazing.
Maybe at the end of this year.
That's amazing.
So I'm very excited, and it's all for me, because I have spent so many years trying to help others that I forgot to help myself.
Of course.
And for you to help others, you have to be at your best.
Exactly.
That's very
I
important.
always had a positive mindset. Like, I can't say that during these years I have hated myself. And that is why it's scary in a way, because I received those comments. Like, you look great, you're so confident, and they used to help me, but also they made me complacent, I feel.
And complacent in what ways exactly?
So there's a statement. I agree to it to a certain extent. I am good how I am. But yes, I'm good how I am, but there are always room for progress. I listened to a podcast recently. I forgot what it is. But she was saying that a person normally is always happy and always on the go when they have something to achieve, a goal in mind, even if they're making, I don't know, millions and millions of euros or whatever. If they do not have a goal, they would feel nothing.
For sure.
So it's good to have goals, work on yourself. We are never a finished product. Life is constantly ongoing. If we don't change, we're not living. Change is part of life.
You mentioned, so you've taken up bodybuilding and powerlifting. How has this, what effects has this had on you on a general note?
So first of all, I feel like it made me feel more powerful. Back at the time in August, I was at the lowest I have ever been. And it really took a lot of my will and strength to even step into a gym alone, not knowing anything. And then bit by bit, I started learning. Prior to that, I was going to personal training sessions, but then I said to myself, this is a personal journey as well. I have learned the basics. There's so much more to learn, but I want to take this personally. And I started going alone, made so many friends now. I reminisce the time, I joke about this, because at the beginning, I knew no one at the gym. And maybe I would take an hour and a half, 2 hours. And now the struggle is not spending too much time at the gym. Because
so many people.
Oh, no.
Yes, not because of the people either sometimes, though.
No.
Yes.
And it has become a part of me, honestly.
Maybe.
So,
well done.
And since September, now I have lost 20 kilos as well.
Wow, that's amazing.
Sometimes in my mind, I still feel like I look the same because it's such a short amount of time. So I'm still wrapping my head around it.
Oh, I think you're always gonna feel that way.
I think
but
so.
it's because of who you are, you know.
Yes.
It's you still you. Sometimes you don't believe your progress.
But then I believe it when I see the progress in lifting more heavy,
Exactly.
better form.
Exactly.
And that's the
How
type
it
of
works.
progress that we should be
It's
looking at.
amazing.
Right?
Exactly.
For sure.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
sure.
I think that is why I stuck to it now. Because before, when I used to go to the gym, or even when I was younger and I struggled a lot with my weight always, the goal was always to be a certain number on the scale. This time it was different. This time the goal was to feel powerful, to work for me and no one else. Like, I still get comments, why are you lifting heavy weights? Like, you're not small, you're bigger. Why don't you go do cardio? But
Oh, breaks my heart.
I know, me too.
Oh my God.
It's such a misconception,
Yeah.
honestly. It's such a misconception.
You're gonna hear that, obviously, because it's the idea of lifting is like, you want to grow big, where it's no,
it's not
nothing
it
to do
at
with
all.
that.
I mean, it is my goal, but
Yeah, it can be
it
your
can
goal,
be your goal,
obviously.
but it's not necessarily what you're going to get if you're going to go to
Yeah.
the gym and lift weights. Like, it does not
why
work
you
like
do
that.
it.
Exactly. It's kind of funny that I still get those comments, but I mean, it's different now because I'm doing it for me, and the goal is to always feel stronger.
But that's everything, because your focus changed and you're just doing it for you and no one else, because people are never going to be happy. If you do that,
Exactly.
they're going to say that. If you're going to do that, you're going to say something else. So
Yeah.
the minute you just start focusing on yourself and what makes you happy as a person, I think will literally
that's the goal.
change your perspective and how you look at life. Literally.
Exactly. And apart from gym, I also went to therapy and everything to handle the trauma part of everything. And it helped me a lot also with the gym itself, because I was always afraid to not be good. I don't like failing. Well, I didn't like failing. But now I kind of get excited, because I know, like, 3 months, 4 months down the line, there's going to be like a big change or something, because I saw such a big change already now. Like, I know, like,
It teaches you patience as well, in some ways.
yes.
And for example, for me, that changed everything. The minute I accepted failure in my life, I still take this on with me everywhere I go. My uncle used to tell me, when you fall, be happy with the fall, because it's a way for you to stand up and stand up stronger. So I think when you look at it from that perspective, and you start, because it's a failure is a part of life, as in
Everyone fails.
of course, and it's a very important part of, because if you don't
sure.
fail, you would never be happy and
I have
feel.
this blackboard in my room, and sometimes I change the quote on it. Just the vibe. The vibe right now is, if you never know failure, you will never know success.
That's it. Of course, that's what I'm trying to say.
There's no one that's successful that did
not fail.
Of
Yes.
course.
It doesn't work like that.
Because it's a way to make yourself stronger and fight for it even more.
But again, if we go back a bit and talk about social media typically always shows the wins and the perfect
Because
life,
obviously it's
you know?
just same as us. I mean, I would say everyone does it. You want to post something, what other people want to see. That is your choice. Why would you show the world your ugly side, your, I don't know, whatever you don't want them to see?
But it's because
we're
we're believing this. Because why not? Why shouldn't
exactly,
we
why
show
not?
our...
It should be
exactly,
like that.
it should be like that. But
at the
it's
same
not.
time,
you're right,
it's
definitely.
the human nature.
Yes,
It's going to show
for
you,
sure.
obviously, their perfect life, their perfect
For
body,
sure.
their perfect whatever. When in reality, it's not really perfect.
Even now, like, what I see on my social media completely changed from before. Before it was like more so like fashion and stuff like that. Now it's like gym, powerlifting. And I see these transformation videos from lifting a bit of weight to like, I don't know, 150 to 100 kilos. And there was this one guy who did this transformation video. And he changed physically, and he also lifted much, much heavier. But he had... he was inclined to do another video stating that although he's very thankful for the praise and everything that he received, what they didn't see in the 30-second video is the hard work it took for the 5 years he has trained over and over continuously. So sometimes...
So on this note, let's stay on it. So, Kelly, you have been lifting heavy weights for as long as I remember you now. I mean, you've been going to the gym full time for a very long time.
For a very long time.
So, how has this shaped you and the woman you are today?
Wow, that's a huge question, first of all. So for me, I would say my purpose of going to the gym has been changing, and I feel like it will always change. The woman I've become now is far more than what I ever imagined. Because the gym for me started basically for me just feeling good. I wanted to lose weight. I was always kind of sporty as a kid. I was always into PE, sports and whatever. So for me, it was always fun. The gym, sports activities, they're always fun. That's what's going to give me just fun. So over the years, then I did 1 year and I kept on going, and then I saw a difference. And then I would say I flipped into that kind of obsession where it wasn't, I would say, so healthy. So I would eliminate a lot of food. I would constantly beat myself up to go to the gym all the time because people were, at that, I was 22 at that time. People were always coming up to me, oh my God, you just lift so much. You look great. What do you do? So in my head, I was like, oh my God, I need to maintain this because I feel like if I stop, I'd look like an idiot. That's how stupid I was back then. So then I kind of went through certain experiences in my life where I would say I wasn't at my best mentally. So I said, either I use this to beat me up even more and do nothing about it, or else I focus on myself. Like both of you mentioned, you chose yourself. And that's what I did. I said, okay, so I'm doing this and it's making me feel good, but I'm not using it properly. So how I started seeing the gym then was my therapy. That is my therapy place, because that place, I don't need to think about anything. I don't need to plan anything in my head. I'm just there and I'm just going to do it and I'm just going to focus on it. So then the gym became my therapy. So that's when like people always tell me, La, like you've been going to the gym for all these years. How do you get the motivation? I don't get motivation.
Yeah.
It
Just
is
a
my
part
life.
of you.
If
Yes.
It became part of your lifestyle, literally.
It is my life because it's something in my life which for me, I need for me to stay mentally healthy as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm an overthinker. So if I'm not doing something, I panic when I don't have anything to do. I hate it. I need to do
understand
something because my head just keeps on going. So from just doing it for my body to now doing it to take care of me, myself, and my mental state. Because for me to achieve a certain goal, even with regards to fitness, obviously I still lift because I want to be fitter. That is my, I mean, people will tell you they just go to the gym for their mind. It's, just that. It
You can do
just
other
doesn't make
things.
sense either.
No,
But
of
obviously, we
course.
appreciate people who are disciplined. You see a good physique, you're like, wow, he's disciplined. That's what makes it nice. A person looking disciplined, because that shows strength in itself, It's not easy to go to the gym every day. I don't feel like going to the gym every day.
Yeah.
I have phases. Like right now, I'm in a phase where it's like the gym, okay, I just go because it's my life, but I don't feel like it. It doesn't matter. You have to go and do it because you're important. Even let's say you work with someone, you give them your time and your talent and your energy for 8-9 hours, whatever. I'm exaggerating. And you're not going to give 1 hour for yourself. So you're giving all those hours for people, for social media, for this, for that, for your kids. I don't know, I don't have kids. But, it's like you give your time to a lot of people but you're forgetting yourself, and you only need 45, 1 hour of
Just
of
1
your
hour
day
of a day.
for
If you
yourself.
think about it, it's crazy.
You know,
don't
that's
have
how
an
much you
hour.
need to love yourself.
Yes, you're right.
That's honestly,
So
you couldn't have said it better, Adair. And before you mentioned motivation, and this is a common misconception, it is not
Definitely.
about motivation. It's about
No.
commitment, discipline, and really patience, right?
patience,
Yes.
of course, because you're never going to see results straight away.
Of course, it doesn't happen like
Ever.
that.
Like me, I'm never ever, and I think I would never ever feel like that in a place where I look at myself and I'm like, I did it. I look really good and I feel good. And
That's
I
like
don't
less-
want
That's it.
it.
That's it.
I don't want to feel like that.
Kind
Life
of
is not.
scary.
It's scary,
What
yes,
comes next?
obviously.
If you get to that point, what will happen then?
I mean, you come to a point where I'm happy with myself.
course,
You know
of
what I
course, of
mean?
course.
I'm not gonna be like, because I want to be like, I'm happy because I work hard every day for it. But I'll
Trying to
never
keep
look at
it-
myself and I'm like, I've done it.
Like you're finished.
You're done. I'm done.
You
I can
know,
stop.
You're
that
not.
is
Of course.
boring for me as well. Like it doesn't motivate me.
Being comfortable.
Being comfortable, like the
it's-
comfort for me, it kills me. Like when when I was driving today and I said, and I was like really calm and I was like listening to a podcast, and you know how you'd kind of drift into your own thoughts. And I'm like, I feel like life is really good right now, but I panic when I feel like that.
I feel you. I
Me
feel
too.
Because
It
I
happened to me
know
today,
something,
I swear.
something's gonna happen. I know it's really bad.
Oh my god!
But
I was
it's
thinking about it
life,
today.
you know? Life is always like that.
Yeah.
So for me, keeping myself healthy mentally and physically is going to prepare me for all the struggles that I have coming up.
Yes.
Because life, I'm not 28 and I'm going to live happily ever after. It's not going to happen.
No, it's impossible.
So something is going to happen at some point. It's part of life, you
course.
know? But you need to be at your best.
Yeah.
For you
Physically
to fight
and
those
mentally.
moments.
To fight
for you,
it.
exactly.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so we're all talking about this. It reflects a much deeper life philosophy in some ways, that it's not about the destination, but it's about the journey.
The journey, definitely.
Definitely.
Agreed.
Of course, because I mean, we don't do something just to have an end to it. You know, it's like you went to university and you did your course and you graduated.
You're done. It's
and
not
you're
like
done. It just doesn't work like that. Sometimes I graduated in graphic design, and my passion is totally different. I mean, it's still part of my passion, but it's not my main focus anymore, you know? But the journey took me here. Because if I didn't go through these certain things, and I didn't meet these certain people or these certain situations. So it's all kind of like a puzzle. You have to just trust the process as well, you know?
Something about the way you bounce makes me want to keep you around my mind. My mind, mind. Something about the way you sound shakes me up and makes me get down on my.
We've all mentioned social media at this point, and I haven't even prompted it yet. And it's already been on the table. So we're pretty much living in the age of social media. And for most of us on this table, we grew up with it. Like, it literally was there when we were in our teens, and we don't know a world without it. So women are also constantly bombarded with images. I mean, not just women, even men are experiencing this at this point. And there's a lot of editing which takes place, which places a lot of unrealistic expectations on women and also men, on humans really. And you also mentioned it before, how we almost feel inclined to present an image of ourselves that is the best one, you know, because we don't want people to see us at our worst. So I want to ask this question to all of you now. Do you think it's harder for women to have a healthy relationship and a sense of body image with themselves in the age of social media?
Definitely. It's a no-brainer for me because of the fact that, for example, my generation, we grew up seeing these images of these, like, I used to look at it as, for example, when we were talking about Tumblr, you see an image and you're like, I don't look like that. So why don't I look like that? And if that's the idea of perfection, or of the perfect body, or how I should look in a dress or in a skirt, what am I going to do to look that way? And your mind starts playing tricks on you without even probably you knowing that. You start taking decisions and working your way to somehow become like that particular picture, a particular person. So I think it's harder for people, and especially the new generations, it's harder for them to accept themselves as they are. Although there are a lot of things and accounts and people that talk about that you have to love yourself for who you are, but there are still the other side of these realities that they're putting in their heads. So I think it also depends on the character of a person, the strength of a particular person. But for example, if I think about the younger generation, for example, this idea that they're constantly bombarded with these pictures and these videos, and how can they find a way to love themselves as who they are if that's not the reality they're constantly seeing? Their mind is subconsciously reading in, you know. So I think yes, it's a bigger struggle for people nowadays to accept themselves as they are but subconsciously, because there are a lot of people who talk about empowerment, body empowerment, and this idea of being happy with who you are, but still subconsciously they're constantly seeing, and we're constantly seeing this perspective of this. I look at it as perfection in a way. This editing, the fact that you see their skin, it's like perfect. There's no little pimples or little,
blemishes,
nothing. It's perfect. It's perfect. And then, or if you look at a picture of a person who has a bit of curves, but she's in a bikini, no cellulite, nothing. And then I look at myself and I'm like, my side doesn't look like that. So what does she do? And then you start obsessing with the fact that what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Without you even knowing that you're putting that upon yourself. So I think
at the same time, it has to be a self-realization, because we're like being mature enough to know that it's not real.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it shouldn't, me per se, I would say, whenever I see something, whenever I see a physique that I like on Instagram, it inspires me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see it as although like people edit and whatever, I don't have nothing against it, because that's what they want to do.
I don't even.
It's fine, you know.
If you're happy with that, do you?
Exactly, but I do understand that it affects the idea of how you should look in a way, especially for like teenagers, because I didn't grow up with Instagram and stuff like that much, you know, but over the years, I start to realize, and I observe, especially like teenagers outside, they're always on it, always, all the time, TikTok, Instagram.
That's why the younger generation worries me. Not if you're mature about the fact that you know that there's editing on a picture, or that it's not real, and they're happy with it, then you do you. It's your life. I'm no one to impose anything on you. But if these, let's say, from 9 to 14, 15, they're still trying to...
on Instagram.
That's the thing. And they're constantly on Instagram. They're bombarded with all this information and all these pictures, and that it worries me so much. For example, when I look at my sister, is much younger than me.
Yeah.
And even her friends, they're constantly on their phone, and they're constantly talking about how skinny they look, and it worries me so much, because that's the mentality I think that social media is putting on people that are younger than us, that can't understand the fact that that's not real. For example, if my sister comes to me and she shows me a picture, I'm like, I start zooming in and like, look at that. You think that's actually, it's impossible to have that perfect skin. But for them, they don't have the maturity to understand that
because they don't know the difference.
Exactly,
They've
because
seen the opposite side, of it. So
Exactly.
for them, it's
because
like
that's all they know about.
what it
That's all they
is.
see. So it's the reality they live in. So that's why it worries me when it comes to that age.
Personally, I feel like it's a double-edged sword. So, for example, I agree, like, this is a really big problem regarding, like, seeing these idealized pictures of how should one look like. But also there's the other side now, because since that has been on the rise for such a long time, now there is the counterpart, like, love yourself as you are. And sometimes it comes to extreme where we glorify certain unhealthy body types as well, which I feel like that is as harmful as the latter. So I feel like there are people who are in the middle road, like they are working on themselves, they're documenting their journey, and I feel like that's healthy, that's good, it's giving a good message to the younger generation. But at the same time, I feel like it's a double-edged sword, because at one extreme, we want to be perfect, no cellulite, no nothing, and the other side is like, be as you are, you don't have to change, don't do anything.
No, I'm thinking there's no middle road, like you're saying. So I think teenagers nowadays, it's either that or that.
But I do feel like when I was doing my psychology degree, I had health psychology. And I do remember the lecturer saying, like, she noted a difference in this generation where they are taking physical health and even food more personally, like a personal identity nowadays than before. Before they were more so focused on partying and stuff like that. She noted that there is a rise in the younger generation where they take interest in physical health and
Okay.
Yeah, even the
Which-
gym, I
which-
feel like
which I
over
think,
the years,
yes,
it's been changing a lot.
at my
great.
gym there are a lot of like 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds,
Yeah.
and I speak to them. And for example, I met this girl, and we used to talk. How we met, it was very funny. I always go to the gym, and whenever I finish a program, I kind of change it up a bit, and I want to try something new. So I learned something new. And I was trying this form. And there was the gym attendant, and he was showing me, and she tagged along because she wanted to learn it as well. And from then on, we continued talking. And then at one point, I told her, how old are you? Because she told me she was doing her O-levels. She was like, I'm 15. I was like, what? You're 15? How come you're at the gym? Like, I wasn't thinking about the gym at 15 years old.
Yeah, I mean, fitness has been
Like, right now, I feel like we're getting better.
getting there. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I think so. But yes, with regards to social media, because sorry, I go on a tangent. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Recently as well, I actually managed to find some accounts which are, I'm not going to remember the usernames right now, but I follow two in particular, both girls. They're both really like, they have a massive following, like hundreds of thousands of followers. And they're all sharing about their fitness journey, but they also share the other side of it. Like, for example, when I sit down, I have roles. I'm not gonna shy away from saying it. And even though I'm okay with saying it, it's still something which I find it very hard to accept. And like, they, instead of just showing the perfect side at the gym, for example, they even show how they would look from the side while they're bending down to lift something up. And that personally has really helped me, because like the more time passes, the more I'm seeking the side of social media which is authentic, you know?
I would love to find users. Imagine a user that actually portrays this side of reality.
Like all of it, you know?
All of
the
it.
good and the bad.
Exactly. The reality we live in, because there are
Yeah.
good days, there are bad days.
Yeah.
And even like you're saying, for example, even if you have a perfect like stomach when you're standing up, when you sit down, if you have a, but you don't usually see that. So I would love to if that was a bigger thing, like if people would actually do that more, that's amazing. That's
Yeah,
great.
I mean, at the end of the day, every woman has something she doesn't like about herself.
Everyone,
We're
I
all
think.
insecure in some way or another. You know?
Yeah, it's part of
And
life.
you don't need to show it, but if you want to show it, show it. It doesn't matter. Really,
No, you don't
know
have
it.
to show it, but imagine people
it
who
would
are
be nice,
that
yeah,
comfortable,
to-
and that would be
Yeah.
for me. And if
Definitely.
a woman would be capable to do that, I think she reached a level of
Sure. That's a huge
of
strength as well, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's
For sure,
amazing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, still on the topic of social media. So, how come you decided to move away from an account which you used to use to raise awareness? Like, was it impacting you negatively? Did you feel like there was kind of more beyond it?
As I said beforehand, I decided to do it for me, for myself, because I was giving so much to others and I lacked to give myself. I was in a very low point in my life, and I didn't have the mental capacity to continue on doing it. And I told myself I need to take a step back. And by time I wasn't using it, and I said it's not a part of who I am anymore. I have changed in so many aspects of my life. Like, this is not a part of me anymore. I also have grown to really value my private life so much. I love it so much. So that was one of the main factors, really. And what else? I just didn't like doing it anymore.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, but you still think that there is, of course, like room for it in society for people to be.
Oh, yes, for sure. I mean, I still came here because I still believe in it, but I feel like I don't need to portray my personal life online to pass on the message.
Yeah.
Like, there are other ways
The
to.
decision you took for yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's almost like a full-time job, right? But online.
It is. It
Yeah.
really is. And I was juggling university, Instagram itself, each week with some new job, photo shoot. I don't know, so many. I appreciate all of the opportunities that I have gained through that experience, but also it was a really huge struggle without even realizing it, because I started it at such a young age. I was like around 17 years old, and I blew up so fast. I could not even believe it. Like, from a very small account to over 40,000 followers in just a couple of years. I didn't even know who I was, and I still had I still had certain values that I believed in, and I felt like they were strong, and I always communicated them with people. But still, I didn't know who I was, and that should be the prime importance when you're such a young age.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of doing that progress right now in my personal
Azat, for
private
yourself.
life. Yep.
Yeah.
What I missed out on, I'm doing now.
Azat. Azat. And
Amazing.
you're also quite like vocal on social media when it comes to sharing about your own experience with fitness. Like, you've also done collaborations with Bulletproof. Like, how has this helped you? But on a broader sense, how do you think that this is helping others?
Helping others. Well, there's two sides of it, because obviously me being someone that goes to the gym every day as an athlete, and me being as a fitness coach. So for me, they're kind of like a different role. But I feel like my purpose in it, because I always feel like whatever goal you have, whatever dreams you have, you need to chase them only for the reason because that's your purpose. And my purpose, I feel, could be wrong, because obviously our dreams, our goals always changes all the time. But fitness has always been, it always came to me. if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even if I try to run away from it, it comes back to me. And I feel like it's just part of me a lot. So when I meet people sometimes that know me through the gym or like, I don't know, through Bulletproof or something, like I'm really surprised that people know me like that. I'm like, what? Okay. Like I give that impact, you feel like you're giving something, So for me, it's always comments, especially from women coming up to me and telling me like, it's just, I admire you, how you get the courage to want to do it every day, So for me, the most important thing about it is showing the idea of not quitting, because fitness itself is, there's so much into it. It's not just the gym, it's not just doing yoga, there's a lot, so you kind of have to see which one you like the most for you to kind of understand why they're doing what they're doing. If you take me into a yoga class, I would like it most probably, but I wouldn't keep it because it's not giving me something, so you have to always choose that area which you can grow because you like it. It's very important that you like it, because if you don't like it, you're not gonna keep it.
Exactly.
So for me, I feel like the most important thing is that for me to show others that quitting is just not an option. It's not an option. And if I quit myself, I would give the idea of quitting. And that's what I don't want, because I feel like fitness, exercise, doing something to help your body shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be a plan. It should be part of your life.
And if you're loving what you're doing, you will never quit because you're loving what you're doing.
For sure. But sometimes you don't love it.
Yes.
Sometimes you fail all the time. I fail all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And sometimes I go up and then I fail again. And then I go
Yes.
up again and then I fail again.
But it's
so
like relationships in our lives. They're not always plain sailing.
For sure.
Where there's the good, there's the bad. But they're part of you. And likewise with the gym, it's a part of you. So
sure,
you will never stop.
Yeah,
Fail
and the thing
or no
is,
fail.
it's not meant to be easy either.
Exactly.
Nothing is meant to be. If it's easy,
Everyone
Doing something wrong, probably.
it's easy. I got it. Okay, done.
it
It just doesn't
Wouldn't
work
give
like
you
that.
any
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
satisfaction in that sense.
Yeah, you have to be always hungry to
Yeah.
want more
Exactly.
from yourself, Emma. Like it's
Of course.
you shouldn't
yes.
compare. Be like, I want to be like this. You're never gonna be like that because it's not you.
Exactly.
You be you and you do your best for yourself. Like.
This celebration is about those who come next, building on dreams and foundations. You get the context. For our people, our movement, not lost, but living, searching for a future filled with living, loving, and giving. Doesn't have to be about the great, the big, and the mighty. It can be about taking those small acts of kindness just a little less lightly. Making the most of our bodies, being thankful for each new day. The next 15 years is about the new creators, thinkers, movers, and shakers. But we need a helping hand. Are there any takers?
And now as well, like from a less personal note, as a fitness coach, basically, have you ever had any like meaningful moments that really stuck with you? Like maybe you inspired someone or someone who was at your class, like came up to you and told you something that you still remember to this day?
I have a couple. Yes, I like to write stuff a lot. So whenever someone tells me something that made an impact, I'll write it down. I have quite a few, but I always say that when I coach, I feel like the people help me and not me helping them. Because when I see people, because I like doing classes for a reason, when I see all the different types of people come together for one main reason, for themselves. So everyone in the room is choosing themselves.
Yeah.
So I always feel like when I'm coaching, it's always a different experience because people really teach me a lot. And I like to go to places where I meet interesting people and people that are kind of into deep talking, if I would say. I don't like small talk. Don't give me small talk. so
I feel
It's
you.
so tiring.
so it's just like,
Why? Just don't say anything.
So
You're not
the
frisky.
the gym is kind of like a place where people are just so open because they're in the gym where they don't care, they're free, like, you know. So I meet like different lives in a way, and I like to ask people, so where do you live? So what do you do? So it's not because I'm curious, it's because I want to know. Like, I want to know what people experience.
Yeah.
Because there's always a why. Why are you coming to the gym?
Yeah.
There's always a reason.
Yes.
You know, so I feel like even people telling me that I inspire them in any way or of another, for me is like a whoa, okay. Sometimes I'm like, are you sure? You know, but
It's amazing. It's such a beautiful feeling, really.
it's such a nice feeling for me to make a difference
Yeah.
Yeah.
to someone. So
Yeah.
Amazing. And like on this topic of impact, so Alexia, like you opened up on something which is it's quite daunting to open up on, and you opened up yourself as well to a lot. What was the response? Like, what was the impact that you had when you published your song which spoke about your eating disorder?
It was crazy. Before winning the contest, it happened before winning the contest. So when we first published it, and I used to go to my parents and I'm like, I'm done. I've done what I needed to do, as in whatever happens, because the amount of messages I got from it amazed me, the different ages. So I had like younger people, like 13, 14, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds. That when I got all these messages of people, for example, telling me, I think I have a disorder. I think I have a disorder, and thanks to the song, I'm actually gonna search for help, or because of the song, I'm looking at my disorder from a different perspective. It filled me up with so much joy and satisfaction that whatever we did with the song or whatever we wanted to portray somehow left that impact. That, and I believe that's why we produce art, and that's why we create these type of songs, these type of art in general, that have these deep meanings and messages. But it was crazy. It was the best part of the experience, literally, because you realize that you're doing something right. Somehow, whatever you're doing, whatever you're putting out there is even like we were saying today, even if it just touched one soul, or if a person listened to the song and was like, okay, so I think I need help. There, I think
it's already a good job.
You reached. Exactly, because somehow you made a difference, and we found a way to help people understand these underlying issues and give them courage to actually look out for help and accept that they have a problem and that they need therapy or guidance to actually come out of this issue. But it was something so fulfilling till this day that when people talk to me about it and or for example thank me for it's something that gives me so much happiness, literally. That's I'm like, even when they thank you or they say, like you were saying, that you're an inspiration, like, whoa, you just said that to me,
right?
Oh my god, all everything you go through, the whole process of creating the song and all the work you need to put into it becomes all worth it because you made that little difference. Oh yeah,
I mean, that's the beauty of art, just being subjective.
Exactly.
Itself.
Yeah.
You know, because like you might think that you just putting just body image in the picture, whereas people can relate to it in a different way as well.
Of course.
You know, so that's the beauty of art.
Of course, that the interpretation you're saying.
For sure, you have helped other people with other problems,
and I'm forever grateful for it. Forever grateful. So yeah.
And it just goes to show, like the importance of speaking out, right?
Yes, that's what when I first started getting the messages, I was like, imagine that we didn't put the song out, or I used to people who used to be like, go like publish a song or apply for a festival, and I'm like, I'm not that type of I don't want to be that type of artist. But if I didn't do that, if I didn't take that step out of my comfort zone, and push myself a bit, like that extra step, this would have never happened, and you could even save lives, or you know, so that little step, that extra push, sometimes is very important.
So, believe it or not, we're coming to the end of the
Wow,
podcast.
that was really quick.
Yep.
That's quick.
And I want to ask all of you now, like, for your closing thoughts and advice, and most importantly, what's your message to people out there? Alexia?
What I would like to say to people out there is, even if you're not happy with yourself, there's always something that you can find in yourself, or in the way you think, or the way you look, that would actually help you love yourself in a different way. So try to look at, the advice I give to people is, look at yourself in the mirror, like actually look. And if you're at that point in your life where you're at a low and you're like, I hate everything about myself, I have nothing, you try to push yourself, like I was saying, that put that extra effort to find that, because nobody's going to do it for you. And if you don't have the will to help yourself come out of issues, come out of problems, nobody, like I said, can do it for you. So find the strength and courage and talk about any issues. There are so many things you can do and people you can talk to. So yeah, we're all together in this. Yeah.
Thank you. Kelly?
Sure. First of all, I would like to say thank you for having me here. So it's really nice to talk to all of you. I would say, like, in general, I would just want to give courage to anyone who is thinking of, exercising or starting the gym or starting to just focus on themselves. Just always keep in mind your reasons why you're doing it. Because when you don't have a plan, when you're just doing something, you just drift off in other areas. So I feel like the hard part is always the beginning part, because that's where you need to plan. So you are your own project. So if you have a project, you're always going to plan. You're not just going to do it. So you yourself, you're a project as well. So you need to first discover what is stopping you, your reasons why you want to do it, why it is important for you to focus on it. If in your mind, in your everyday life, you're thinking about that thing, but you're trying to ignore it, it is there to showing you that it's important. So the most important part is that don't ignore your thoughts.
Yes.
So it's fine to feel insecure. It's fine to feel sad. It's fine to feel happy. It's life.
Embrace it. Embrace
We're
everything.
meant to go through a lot as human beings, and we're meant to struggle and to fail and whatever. But you need to start with planning. So you need to write stuff. You need to watch and read stuff that is going to benefit you. And don't just waste time on reading and seeing stupid stuff, because it's not going to take you anywhere. Time is so precious. And you always have time. Always have time. I'm pretty sure everyone would waste an hour doing something stupid in a day. So a 1 hour a day for yourself is more important than whatever it is. You're the most important.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Preach, girl. Love it. Sarah?
So, thank you as well for having me.
Thank you all for coming. Man.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. It was
Thank
very
you.
lovely.
Amazing.
So what I would like to say is, it's kind of like a reminder that it's okay to take a step back in order to take 2 steps forward. Very mainstream to say, but it's very true, because considering the big change that I did, it allowed me to flourish and find myself. And I believe it's okay if you are working on something, it does not align with you anymore. You want to do new things, completely fine. continue focusing on yourself, and always find things that make you happy.
Brilliant. Girls, thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be here today.
So much.
I'm fairly certain that a lot of women, especially young women, will benefit from us being so open as well. And yeah, thank you for coming and making it a very important discussion for women out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.